Hey friends, Kim from Stamping Imperfection. Welcome to the Cards by Kendra 1000 subscriber hop and giveaway. So this is a YouTube hop. You'll find a link to the next person in the hop in my description box below. And make sure you subscribe to each channel and comment because there are giveaways at every stop. Here are some of our sponsors for the hop today, and each stop will have a gift from one of those sponsors. So I was inspired by Kendra. She sent me these fantastic goodies from Pink and Maine, and she also does a quarterly challenge where she gives us cutting diagrams and she gives these card sketches. The quarter 4 challenge has 17 card sketches, and you need 6 sheets of 6x6 pattern paper to make those 17 cards. So I'll put the links to that below because those are great card sketches and card layout cutting patterns. So Kendra has sent me this Pink and Maine stuff. You can see I have here this Big Hello die. I love this. It's got the shadow die behind it. Then there is the Missing You stamp set, and look at all the sentiments and images there. It's got a coordinating die set which she sent. Then these are the slimline sayings. Those are gorgeous. They have lots of secondary sentiments. She sent me some pattern paper from the Home Sweet Home paper pad from Pink and Maine. So I chose 3 pieces, and I'm going to make 3 quick cards today. So these will be quick and easy cards, and this is a great way to use your pattern paper. I pulled out this from my stash, this cool smooth cardstock pad that I got from scrapbook.com. It's one of those freebies that they give away. If you look under the coupon tab, they always have giveaways, and that was one of the freebies I got. So I'm starting by I'm going to stamp all of the images, the hearts, the flowers, the leaves, the little berry stems. I'm stamping all of these in my Catherine Pooler Midnight Black ink. This is my very favorite black ink to use. And I love it because I can use my Copic markers with it, and I can also watercolor, which is what I'm going to do today. And I'm just using 110-pound white cardstock here. Probably I should be using watercolor cardstock or mixed media cardstock even would work, but I'm going to be very careful with how much water I use, so I know that this 110-pound cardstock will probably work just fine. I'm pulling out my Catherine Pooler mini ink pads. I love these ink pads. Catherine Pooler makes probably my favorite ink pad, and I love them. I store my little mini ink cubes in this Totally Tiffany, I think it's called Stamp Store and Go, but it's got this plastic container inside it, and then that slides into that vinyl bag. This is the 2-inch one, and all the mini ink cubes that I have fit in there beautifully. I like this size a lot for when I'm doing the techniques like this. So I'm using the Be Mine Pink, and I spritzed it with some water from my Mr. Perfect Mr. bottle. It's a nice big bottle of water, and I love that big Mr. bottle. From Maker Forte. I also used my Maker Forte smusher when I was stamping these images with my Misty. I really like that tool also. So I spritzed water. I squished the ink onto my craft mat, spritzed water on top, and I am very I'm just very randomly putting some of that light pink Be Mine ink around. Then I pulled out the Party Dress ink, which is a slightly darker pink, smushed that on. I didn't even spritz it, I just wet my paintbrush. I'll spritz it in a couple minutes because I like it to have a little bit more flow, so it needs a little bit of water, which is why I spritz it. And I do want these to mix together on my paper, and I'm filling in any spots I didn't get with the lighter pink, and I'm also leaving some white areas around, not big white areas, but little splotches of white. And I've been participating in a lot of virtual events And Angie Blum has done classes at a couple of them, which has been wonderful. And she always demonstrates some watercoloring technique, and I feel like if I blink it's going to be over because she does it so quickly. And I decided she's not stressing at all about it, and it looks beautiful when she's done, so I'm not going to stress at all about it. And that's what I'm doing. I'm putting the water and the paint down pretty quickly and letting it do the work on the image, and just enjoying the process. So this is a quick and easy way, and I'm just trying to make sure I stay within the lines of the images. So I'm using the green tea and the eucalyptus inks. The eucalyptus is the darker of the two greens, and it's probably my very favorite Catherine Pooler green. So I do the lighter colors toward the top part of the leaf and the darker toward the base of the leaves. I also used rouge to restamp those hearts and to fill in the berries. I hit it with my heat tool just to make sure it was all dry before I sent it through my die cutter, and I'm just fitting all the dies to the images now. When I laid them out, I made sure I left plenty of room between them so I could die cut all of them all at one time. You do have to fuss with the flower dies a little bit. I just keep rotating it till I find which way it needs to be turned, and then I die cut everything out. So I also cut all my card bases, and they're all the same. My card bases are 5.5 by 8.5. I scored and folded at 4 1/4. Then I cut a plain panel at 4 1/4 by 5 3/8, and I cut a plain panel for each one of the 3 cards that I'm making. I'm just using my art glitter glue to attach this to the card base. And I'm having, like, the last 3 months, I feel like I can't get anything straight. Usually, we all have days like that. I'm having months like that. Like, I feel like nothing is straight. So I'm being very careful about gluing this down. Now, I cut a piece of pattern paper at 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 for each one of these cards. And I'm only going to put 2 layers on this first card because I did die cut out that big hello. I used the same blue cardstock for this shadow die for this sentiment as I did to go behind my pattern paper. And I probably should have just cut that from the center of that piece I used below the pattern paper. That would have been a more efficient way to use my supplies. I cut the script part of the hello out of white to match the card base and the white polka dots, and then I just added liquid glue to the back, and that's going to complete that card. I'm going to leave it just like that. So same sizes here, except I added 2 more layers. I have another piece of the plain. This is cut 2.5 by 4 1/4. I'm just gluing that to the center of my card base. And then I have a piece of white, which is 2 by 3 3/4, and I'm going to center that in the blue. And now I can stamp my sentiment. So I pulled out the thank you so very much sentiment from that same Missing You stamp set. And again, I'm using my Catherine Pooler Midnight Black ink. I love that ink because it lets me do these little skinny letters without oozing ink into all the open spaces. So I really like this ink. So now I'm just taking some pop-up dots to put behind my flower. And I'm just going to use one of the flowers on this one down in the little corner. And then one of the leaves and one of the stems. And I will put a pop dot on the top of that larger leaf, and then I'm going to use just liquid glue on the back of the stem, but I think I'm going to use the other stem. I want the one that curves up, and that will complete this card. So quick and easy. Like, these are really quick cards, and that's one of the things, like Kendra with her sketches and her pattern paper cutting templates, like the cards have a lot of layers. It's a great way to use your pattern paper. It's a great way to use little things in your stash, your scraps and stuff like that, for the white parts and for the colored papers you want to use behind, the colors of cardstock you want to use behind your pattern papers or on top of it. So I'm using up the last 2 flowers for the third card. And then I'm going to use up the leaves, and I'll use one of those little berry sprigs. And again, I'm adding some liquid glue and some foam to each of these and kind of just playing around to see where I want each of these things to go. And I finally decide I really like the little almost L shape that I get by laying them out this way. One going vertically up, one going horizontally to the side. And then I'll use one of those little sprigs. I'll put a foam dot on it though. Dimension is wonderful on a card. It adds so much interest. So I will put this back in my MISTI, and I'm adding the Sending Love sentiment from that same stamp set. And I have those little hearts left, so I'll add those. And I could add some embellishments to all of these cards if I wanted to. I could add splatter if I wanted to. You know, you can, lots of things you can do to step them up a little bit, but I really want to keep them clean and simple. I like the quick watercoloring technique. These were very fast cards to make. Just some, you know, quick watercoloring, and that's that. So thank you so much for joining us and participating in our hop today. Make sure you leave a comment below for a chance to win a $25 gift card to Scrappy Tales Crafts, one of my all-time favorite craft stores. And make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Click the bell to get notifications every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching, friends.